I'd like to introduce everyone to Aubrey and Melba Provost, the Provost, as I like to call them, two awesome Angelenos who are fixtures at our events at CicLAcia, but also in and of themselves, just amazing human beings. We'll learn a lot more about them in the conversation coming up. But first and foremost, how are you two doing today?
Better than most.
Tell us about yourself a little bit.
Well, we're both Angelenos for many, many years since birth. And Melba kind of climbed aboard after she was about 4 years old from Texas. And now she is Angeleno. And we are just much a part of LA as anyone you can imagine. We're like the Tom LaBonges and Alex Baums and those folks. And what can I say? It's just a wonderful place to be. Look outside.
I am a co-signer of that. You know, at LA, myself also being a native, I speak a lot about, you know, what that means to me. But I'm really curious, and I think I would like our audience to know what is being born and raised here, as Melba's been completely raised here. What does that mean to you both?
You know, it's like we own the place. This is our house. You hear that term all the time, and when we go places, we're very proud to be the part of LA that is good. It's just that it's growing. I don't know if it's growing faster than the infrastructure can handle, or if because, you know, look at the traffic. The last few days, it's just boomed. And I guess a lot of that is automobile traffic, and I think the nucleus is getting people out of the cars and on other mediums. But we got what we got, and we're happy with it.
And Melba, being raised here, curious. Tell me, what's that mean for you?
I have a funny story to tell. When I was born, I came home and my father had given me a bicycle, a big bicycle. I didn't know anything about it, but as I grew up to it, then I started understanding. So I've been cycling ever since then. It's been good because accidents, I can't think of any that are bad. And the weather is so nice here. I can get on my bike almost any time and go anywhere. But I do have trouble with some of the automobile people. They don't like bicycles getting in their way. And I try to stay out of their way. And I think most people do. But now I notice people are just going in and out, giving no signs. And so it's like, oops, here they are, motorcyclists. So I've learned how to manage my bicycle around those people and to be safe. And I don't get mad at anyone because I know sometimes you don't see everybody. So you might, you know, have a little in the way situation. So we continue to ride, even though it's challenging now. The dips in the street, and we used to ride a lot at night, and that was really frightening, and even more so now because you can't see the accidents coming towards you. But we're going to stay on our bikes, and we're going to continue to be affiliated with CicLAcia and some of the other things, that blessing of the bikes. It's just fun and healthy on top of that. It has to be, because we're getting up there in age, and I think we're still able to do things because we have been on our bikes and getting that exercise.
I really appreciate that point in terms of thinking, you know, what it means to get on the bike in Los Angeles, learn how to bike in the street and get comfortable with it early in life, so that it can be a lifelong activity that you feel more comfortable with. And, you know, a lot of folks who move here later in life and try to tackle biking, you know, as adults, I think they often shy away from it because of their fear. And similarly, I think my comfort with riding in the streets, even though I get hesitant sometimes because of the nature of drivers out here. I think I'm a little more comfortable with, a little more willing to just jump into it because I grew up doing it here. So it's something I have that kind of lifelong familiarity with. So I really appreciate that point. If you get your kids riding a little earlier, it might be something that they can stick with. And even as we try to improve, the quality of streets and quality of people's experiences doing those activities. And I want to talk more about your guys' biking experience and stuff a little later, because I think it's really valuable to hear about all your work, your experience and work doing that. But I want to talk a little bit more about your experience, growing up in Los Angeles. What part of LA were you born in, Aubrey?
I think Melba tried to mention it, but I was born in Watts, and as a matter of fact, delivered at White Memorial Hospital, which was on one of the last CicLAcia rides. I took pictures in front of the hospital there by Mariachi Plaza.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a funny story because while we were there, there's a little bar we jumped into, not for alcohol, but for water. And a couple of our Latin amigos asked if we were familiar with the area. And because we were in East LA,
mm-hmm.
And I said, yeah, matter of fact, I was born right here, a block away. And he said, you were born where? I said, in White Memorial Hospital. He said, when? I said, 1937. He turned around to all his buddies and he said, hey man, this guy's almost 100 years old. I almost slapped him. He do the arithmetic, he's right,
That's funny. Oh,
but that's where I grew up. I was born in Watts, born in White Memorial Hospital, and then we moved to the West Side, and Melba didn't mention it, but she was also in Watts, around the corner from us on 103rd, and we were on 104th, or vice versa, and we didn't meet until she moved to the West Side.
And
not that I got anything against girls in Watts, but she was also raised in Watts, and we met on the West Side, and the rest is history.
So you found yourself a Watts girl, but on the West Side.
That's right. Yeah, once removed.
And it's funny. It's funny. I was like, think about your experience on 100. You growing up on 103rd and being born in White Memorial, and yeah, we have CicLAcia routes that go to both those places.
That's right.
Well, yeah, we're all over the place. So that's really cool. And then you guys met on the West Side. What were you on the West Side for? Just curious.
Well, Melba went to LA High School. And I went to, I have to take time to say, John H. Francis Polytechnic High School on Washington and Hill, which is now Trade Tech College.
Oh, I was about to say, I was like, I never heard that.
That was 1955, was our last class. And in the process of moving on to LA City College, of course, young men would travel and see the other fruits of the earth. And that's where I found Melba at LA High School from those days of touring the campuses. And it was a good pick.
It seems like it. It has lasted. So I have questions about your relationship, which I find very inspiring. A little bit later, Sue. So a little bit more about your life in LA and what you guys are doing right now. You have an art gallery, right? Yes,
we have a connected art gallery connected to our business, which is the Ivan Art Gallery on Robertson Boulevard in West LA.
Really cool. Tell us about your art gallery. What is it? Why'd you open it, and what's the story?
Well, it was initially opened by one of our tenants who was paying rent until she couldn't. And then so we wanted to keep it an art gallery, and so we just changed the name from Barbara Mendez Gallery to the Ivan Gallery and kept her as the curator. And it exists today. And we have shows throughout the year and of various artists and showing their creations. And so she is over there doing the curator of the art. And it works out pretty good, but it's not profitable, but it's fun.
most art isn't profitable.
Right.
So it's been open about how many years?
Well, it's been open about 6 years. We've had it how many years, Melvin?
Quite a while.
Maybe 10 years now.
Cool.
8 to 10
And
years now.
why do you find it important to like keep, because it was going to close and you decided to invest yourself in and keep it open? Why'd you do that? Why did you find it important?
I don't know. We like art. We both like art, but we're not artists. And so we just thought if it were a viable art gallery, other artists can, demonstrate their wares, and we can make a couple of bucks. And they have demonstrated their wares, and we've made not a couple of bucks, but a buck or two.
What type of art are you most interested in displaying there? What kind of gallery is it in that
Well,
way?
the curator is a Jewish artist, and so when there's no one there, we don't have a tenant showing their stuff, then she will display her very eclectic art, and it tends to be on the Jewish side.
Mm-hmm. Real cool.
So
So
it's
any upcoming, huh?
It's a good mix, the Black owner of a Jewish gallery. So to speak.
So you get all kinds of influences going on.
Yeah, a lot of things.
Any upcoming exhibits folks should know about?
We have some irons in the fire. We just completed 2 senior artists who live in the neighborhood, and their stuff was very fanciful. It was like she was different than her husband, and they're both octogenarians, and they were there for a month, and they had a pretty good turnout for their opening. And then each weekend, people would drop in, and each one of them, when you sell a piece of art and it stays on display, you put a red dot on it, and each one of them had a red dot. So they were happy that they made a few bucks selling their stuff. And we have, what I'm trying to get, there's a guy that's the cartoonist for the Sentinel.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Black cartoonist, and I don't have somebody brown, and we're trying to stroke him so that he can bring his stuff in. Hopefully we'll have him in for the Martin Luther King month, which is February, and I would like to show his work if he will want to contribute and show it at that gallery.
That's exciting. I love cartoons and cartoonists, particularly like political cartoons. So
he does a lot of that.
Keep your eyes open for in February at the Ivan Gallery. Fingers crossed, be a really good show in February, folks. You also have your business, which you just mentioned. I guess maybe that's your business in the background we're seeing.
Yeah, it's stuff all over the place. We're a direct mail company primarily, and so we do printing, addressing, and mailing. We maintain mailings for our clients and keep them updated. And the internet has, whammy on the direct mail business, but we still have some very loyal customers.
Yeah, I mean, according to my mailbox, people are still mailing stuff. So
absolutely. And when how many times you open your mailbox and there's 125, pitches in there, and you open your mailbox and there's 3 things, you're gonna look at those 3 things.
Right.
And so it works, and we're happy with what we do, and we have a fair amount of customers that are loyal with some real estate companies, and our primary customers in days gone by were the Los Angeles Dodgers before they went internet. And then when the other team came to town, which was the Oakland Raiders, when they came to town, they looked us up, and we did their work for 13 years they were here. And our buildings that we own are, one is called the Peter O'Malley Building, and one is called the Al Davis Building, because they were very good to us and for us.
They got buildings named after them, the big clients.
Exactly.
In case there's any potential customers listening to this, what's the name of your business?
It's Palmer Addressing and Mailing Company, and I kept the name Palmer because Joe Palmer, which I bought the building from 20-some years, 25 years ago, was a local writer for the Malibu Times. He was a sports writer for the Malibu Times. And so he was very well connected to the sports industry and writing the column every week for the Malibu Times. And he was a gambler. And we would go to all the Dodger games, and I could tell when he had money on the games because he would smoke a cigarette. And I could tell you,
He's a little nervous.
You took the points. I can tell you took the points, Joe. And so we had a good time growing up, him growing us up into the business. But before that, I was also in the business. I bought it from him when I was with an existing direct mail company.
What got you into direct mail?
I beg your pardon?
Well, what got you into this business, direct mail, like it's
Well,
level
come
marketing, promotion?
We bought the business from Joe Palmer.
Well,
It was a direct mail advertising company. We kept his name and just kept going with it.
But Aubrey, you said you worked in this kind of business. You worked in direct mail prior to owning it.
Yeah, we only have an hour here, but we have, what started was, I used to work for a computer company downtown. It was called Statistical Tabulating. In a nutshell, I'll try to do it. And we worked weekends, and my job was credit unions and things that had to be processed on weekends. And we had a division of Statistical Tabulating, which was a function called DataMat. And DataMat, we would rent out our downtime on our mainframe computers to these customers. One customer came in and said, if you work that hard for them, I could make you rich working for me. And so I went to work for that company. It was in the Valley. And didn't get rich. He went out of business. And then one of our customers was the Palmer Addressing and Mailing Company, which this guy said the same thing to him. If you can work this hard for him. Anyway, we bought that company, a small direct mail company. Got
it. That's really cool. So how was business during the pandemic besides the general downturn in direct mail stuff?
It's okay. We have some very loyal customers. I'm looking up at some of the orders now, but the problems have been securing materials. So we had some jobs that clients wanted XX paper, and we could only get X paper because XX paper wouldn't come in until way after their program date.
Yeah.
And the same thing. So that's been the downside of it. But we've kind of come down a little bit from doing those big jobs, but we don't turn them down because we still can get them done in due time.
Real cool. And you mentioned something to me in our prep about you got a contract with Sofi during this time, huh?
Yeah, we did. It was a small job, but we did a nice job for Sofi. They needed a particular kind of mailing list. We provided it. We printed their material. We mailed their material, and they were happy with it to a point where
they took us on a nice tour of it, and they were looking for people surrounding where they were.
What was the girl's name? The lady, the PR lady over at the place.
Oh, I'll think of it in a minute. They were looking for a mail list to get the names and addresses of people in their area so they could come to their fairs.
Or be aware of the affairs. So
we were able to get them, the surrounding neighbors, and they appreciated that. And so we mailed it to the people, and it's been good for them.
Yeah, and so they gave us a personal guided tour of Sofi as a result of that. And
I feel like Sofi has been trying to do a good job of working with local businesses and really connecting with local organizations in different kinds of ways. It's nice to know this big new stadium has those kind of impacts, and working with small mom and pops like yourself.
Yeah, and we were able to get the names and addresses and quickly for them so they could get that mailing out.
So you guys have a business, you have an art gallery you help run and manage, you manage properties apparently. And I know you're also very involved in civic life in terms of, a political kind of civic life. Tell me a little about that. What kind of work have you done with the city of LA?
Not enough. We had a contract with DWP for many years, and we did all their fulfillment work on their education department.
Mhm.
And we would mail to all their schools and churches and things, and we did their printing and mailing for the Department of Water and Power under a guy named Walter Zeisel, who was very top level PR person for DWP. And it was funny because he had a lady working for him. I don't want to mention her name, but she had a lot of clout in DWP, and sometimes I go there and pick up their copy or whatever, you have it printed. And she had so much clout that she would take a hibachi to the top floor of the Department of Water and Power and cook fish on the grill.
Just go on the roof.
Yeah, on the roof.
That must be nice.
Floor, yeah.
Real
But
cool.
anyway, she was a lot of fun. It was a fun account. Yeah.
It's true.
But that's the only thing we got out of the city of LA.
But I was speaking more towards your other side. Like, I know you do a lot of like advocacy work with the city, and you sat on some commissions and stuff. Like, tell me about that.
Well, I sit on the BAC, the Bicycle Advisory Committee for Los Angeles, and there's 15 members of that. Each council district has its own rep, and I have been on it for 3 different councilmen's tenure, and we've never yet had one of those councilmen on a bike. But we still represent the area. We're supposed to feed them information bicycle related back to our council people.
Kind of disheartening that none of them ever rode a bike though, huh?
Yeah.
Cool. So transitioning slightly, I want to talk more about you guys. I have to say your coupling, your relationship is one of the most inspiring I've ever seen. As a single guy, I'm like, man, these guys, what's secret sauce these guys have? This is great. So we talked about.
We
look up to you too, Tafar.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're
So how long exactly have you been married?
How long have we been married? I gotta ask Nova.
I stopped counting after 60 years.
It's 62 or 63, something like that.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I know. It's funny.
And I swear your loving energy just radiates from the two of you. How have you kept that energy alive so long?
60-40 situation. I'll give 60 and take 40, and hopefully it works the other way, Melbourne.
Yeah.
and that keeps it going, and it's a day at a time. I mean, we've had ups and downs, and we've had struggles to make things happen, and sacrifices. But before you know it, you look back at them and you laugh.
We got married young, and so everybody kept saying, when are you going to have a family? When are you going to start a family? And I kept putting it off, and then we picked up traveling. We started traveling, and then we bought a business, and I said, oh, I don't think I'm going to have any time to take care of any kids, but we do like kids, and our family is huge because I'm the oldest of 9 kids. So everybody is, had kids, and now they're all having twins a lot. So the family is just overgrown. So we enjoy our nieces and nephews.
So your nieces and nephews
give them advice on certain things.
Well, yeah. Speaking of advice, do you have any pointers for us younger heads watching who might not have found that one yet? Because you can always use some advice.
Well, now it's a harder era to live. Where we were growing up, it was I worked downtown for a law firm, and you would see a homeless person, a few here and there. I was downtown, and so it was a different age. Now it's overgrown, Yeah. So we lived during different times, and so it wasn't really that much of a struggle.
It's hard to compare, yeah.
Yeah, now it's just blown away how hard it is to live and save money and do the things. And you watch TV and you see what happens on TV a lot.
Yeah.
You just have to be aware.
So you guys eat out often a lot?
No, we out as much as we eat in, but it's like a 50-50 thing. We don't just go out to Fatburger every night,
Mhm.
but or to our favorite spot, which is Cafe Brazil
Mm.
in Culver City.
With the world famous black beans,
Oh, the best. Yeah, but you know, we have our roots thing that we go back to, because my roots are Jamaican, and I do favor Hungry Joe on La Cienega near Centinela for it's only takeout, but it's good. He's got good cowfoot stew.
So cafe, I mean, like, it's been a tradition of these to rattle off some of our favorite restaurants. So you got Cafe Brazil, you got Hungry Joe's. Any other favorite restaurants you want to share with the audience?
Well, yeah, we got the Pantry, and we got Felipe's. I mean, you don't get much better than that. Felipe's is downtown across from Union Station, with the French dips. And,
yep.
Yeah, and the Pantry on Figueroa Street. You know, it's 24/7, and they don't have a key.
That's true. They said they don't lock the door.
We had a fun anniversary party after 40 years, and it was at the train station downtown.
Mm.
It was really nice.
We modified it. We brought it back to 1937, 39 when it was built. We brought in new landscaping, and we brought in the kitchen, and we did the whole thing. It was a lot of fun, a lot of work.
Really cool.
40th.
Your 40th.
Yeah.
Trying to think about how long ago that was.
23 years ago.
Yeah, but it was a nice location, and they were very nice at keeping it up for us too.
Yeah, because it was closed. Nice. We took over. What was it? What was the name of the restaurant?
Can't think of it.
The big restaurant.
You know where Union Station is, right?
Yeah. I forget. Isn't it called Tracks or something like that? The restaurant.
Tracks is what it is.
Yeah.
There's a little restaurant there now. But
right.
back in the day, it was one of the guys that ran all those restaurants across the nation. And anyway, it was defunct, and we brought it back, and we had, you know, music and catering and all that stuff. It was fun.
Real cool. Do you ever bike? You ever bike out to eat?
Do we ever do what? Bike?
You ever ride your bike to restaurants?
Oh yeah, we ride our bikes too. Yeah. We valet park at the Pantry.
What's at the Pantry? You bike to the Pantry?
Yeah, and we valet park, you know, because there's no parking rack.
Right. So
so we give the guy a couple of bucks, and we chain our bikes to his guard shack.
little pro tip.
Yeah, a little pro tip. There you go.
Really cool. So you're like a real bike OG. You know, you've been biking in the city for decades and decades, and you're one of the only persons I've spoken to who was doing bike advocacy during like the Bradley administration, if not, you know, earlier than that.
Yeah, Tom Bradley's advocate brought us into it. It was the little guy named Alex Baum, and we would see him all over town on the Mirrors rides, and he'd say, "Why don't you join this group called the CBC, Bicycle Advice, BAC, the Bicycle Advisory Committee," which we did. And so it was Alex Baum who brought me into that. And Alex Baum was, which came first, Tom Bradley or Alex Baum? I think under Tom Bradley became, Alex Baum developed the BAC. And so it goes back a day or two.
What was so when that got started, and since then, even what is bike advocacy meant to you, and what has that been like?
It's been tough because, you know, you have a lot of things that move very slowly, and it's frustrating because they do move that slow. And I've been on committees where things have started years and years ago, and they still haven't happened yet. And I think some of the younger people are coming in, and they're kind of rattling some cages and making things happen. Because even though I represent the district that is it's still chopped up now. I think it's the 9th district or the 8th district. It's Marquise Dawson Harris,
The 8th.
the 8th. And I met him once. And so it's hard to get in front of these guys because they got a full slate and we're not that much a part of it. So that's why it's hard. But then you just keep your butt on the bike and people recognize you. You recognize us. And it goes like that. So if you're out there, it's advocacy.
Why did
And
you
it's
get involved?
given us good health.
Yeah, and the health is part of it.
It's given us good health. That's all I can say.
And why'd you get involved with bike activism? Like, what drove you to it?
Well, like I said, the little guy named
Yeah, Alex
Alex
Baum.
Baum.
But he
Yeah.
asked you. You ain't got to say yes though. Why'd you say yes?
Oh, because we were cycling anyway. We were riding all over town. And then he caught my coattail one day and said, this group exists, come join it. And I did. And we made some ground, some moves, ground moves. Not a lot. And I think, I don't know what's part of it. Part of it is that we're a small group. But we represent 15 districts, council districts in Los Angeles. And I thought it would be a lot more powerful than it has turned out to be. But and the pandemic has slowed it down a little bit because it's hard to get in front of people and do what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
He has a bridge named after him.
Baum?
He
Yeah.
has a bridge named after him. What's the city?
And it's right over Griffith Park, over Los
Yeah.
Feliz,
Who-
Alex Baum Bridge.
Alex Baum.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen his name on some signs around the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you go underneath it, it looks like you're going under a big bicycle spoke because the bridge is styled after bicycle spokes and rims.
Well, in your long experience in bike culture in Los Angeles, what are some of the biggest moments you've seen?
Oh.
Oh, on the bike ride?
Yeah, the bike rides. The mayor's rides were very much part of our life because he did a ride, I think once a month, in most of the council districts throughout LA, Mayor Richard Reardon.
Mm-hmm.
And we would join him on his rides, and we got to see LA like we've never seen it before, because he just went into the valley, which is the valley. But anyway, we went into the valley and we went into South Bay. We went down to San Pedro, watched the fire trucks shoot the water out of their engines, and just things that he did. And it was regular once a month. Now CicLAcia is also good doing that. And I think CicLAcia evolved from the mayor's rides. The CicLAcia is doing what it does now, other than the fact that you came from South America and they do it every Sunday in Brazil somewhere.
In Colombia.
Yeah, Colombia. Yeah.
And
Any
Santa
other-
Barbara has some nice rides that we went on.
Santa Barbara.
Very hilly, but we don't do those anymore. They're just too hard to climb.
Yeah, hill rides are hard. So those are the biggest moments you've seen. Any other ones you want to share?
What was that one we did in Pasadena?
Oh, on the freeway?
Yeah. That was a very memorable ride, which was
I think you'd been on the freeway ride, right?
No, I missed that one. I think it was a little before my time, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, this was
It was shut down, of
it
course.
shut
but-
down the Pasadena freeway from downtown LA to Fair Oaks. Is it Fair Oaks?
Pasadena.
Yeah, the last street where you pop off the freeway.
Mhm.
And it was both ways. And they shut it down. It was one Sunday morning. And it was so weird riding a freeway. When you're in a car, you feel like, oh, this is just a breeze. But when you're on the freeway, it's not an easy ride. It's got a lot of bumps in it that you don't feel in the car that
Oh,
you
that's
feel
interesting.
when you're on a bicycle,
Huh.
because it's a concrete freeway.
Right.
But it was very memorable. Other memorable rides have been some of the rides that Tom Levine's put on.
And one of the rides with the mayor, you would get medals.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh.
each time you could collect one. So we were on so many that I just saved all mine.
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looking like Venus Williams or Serena Williams with all your
Yeah,
muscles. What is biking meant to your relationship together? I'm just curious. You guys bike together.
Yeah, luckily we both like riding, and so it's been easy to just say, oh, we're going to go riding, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have to plan it, we just do it.
There's an area that maybe we'll have a ride through there one time. It's in Village Green. You can at least walk. Have you ever been over there?
Yeah, I've been like there once.
Yeah, it's just 60 some acres, and you can just walk through there and see. It's been in LA for a long time, since the 40s. And it's just, no one really knows what's inside, you know, because you're always driving around it. But if you go inside, you've been inside, so you know what it's like.
Yeah. I mean, it's a condo development, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you can't really ride in there, but you can just see.
You can walk. You can ride your bike to it and walk through it.
Walk through it. Yeah.
Really cool. And so during the pandemic, did you guys ride up your bikes a lot, or were you guys staying like, you know, a lot of folks were riding a lot during the pandemic, but not everybody.
Yeah. No, pandemic didn't slow us down as far as bicycling goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the bridge that has the homes right outside of where the beach is? What's that area called? There's homes on the water.
The canal.
Venice.
Yeah, you can
canal.
just walk through there,
Yeah,
but a lot of people don't even know it's in there.
So that's fun. We'd ride down there and we walk
Really
through
nice.
it.
Yeah.
Going over the bridges and whatnot.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It's a little hidden gem. Not people, folks realize we have this recreation of Venice, Italy on some levels, like in the middle of Venice beach, where you houses right on like small little rivers with bridges over them. And yeah, it's nice little walk in there.
And Bruce's Beach.
Bruce's Beach, yeah, we did the ride to Bruce's Beach before.
Have you heard of Bruce's Beach?
Yeah, the beach that recently got returned to ownership. It used to be owned by a black family.
That's right. That's right.
And it was taken away from the family by the city, eminent domain, the county or the city.
Exactly.
And recently they got it back.
Yeah. Speaking of eminent domain, Tafari, and I think you are pretty well linked to the bicycle world. I heard this morning that they're making a bike path, a dedicated bike path from Santa Monica to downtown LA.
The dedicated bike for Santa Monica, downtown LA.
Was it downtown LA or maybe down to Sofi? I don't know where it's coming from, but they're going to do eminent domain for some of the bike paths that they're coming through with it.
I didn't know. I didn't heard about that personally.
Yeah, I just heard that on this morning's news that a bike path is being dedicated through LA. Golly, I can't remember the area, but it'll pop up per this conversation. I'm sure we'll get some information on it, but I would like to see that happen.
Cool.
LA, yeah.
What are some other things you want to see happen based on your, experience biking and your advocacy work?
What was it? I'm sorry.
What are other things you'd like to see on your bicycle advocacy activities? Like,
or at least see happen in the city,
Group rides are always good because they're safe. You've done some of them. We've done some with you. You get 25 people. Don't take the lane, but you can show a little bit of power. And I think the group rides are fun, hard to organize. And as a member of BAC, I've always thought that each member should organize a ride in his or her own district. And that would take up 15 months in my class with you guys, but I think it wouldn't be bad to do that because you get to see up close some of the businesses and how people live in some areas that you would not otherwise see. So that's what I would like to see more of, the group rides in LA, because LA is, like you said, a lot little hidden gems that most people don't see. It's been something that I've discovered, even being born in LA. There's areas that I've come upon. And I said, "Whoa, where did that come from?" You know.
There was one river the mayor did,
Right.
and where he opened up the gates of the,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
the
which
St. James downtown, across from the Automobile Club. St. James.
I'm talking about the one in that Reardon. He would get the gates open and the cyclists would go in, and we were going around the, yeah,
Elysian, not Elysian Park, Silver Lake.
Silver
Oh,
Lake.
Silver Lake Reservoir.
Yeah, Silver Lake
Yeah,
Reservoir. Yeah, he
that
would
was
open that
nice.
up, and just we would go across the reservoir, the water on one side and the homes on the other side, and it was kind of exciting to see how where we get our water from. You
So
know,
more,
and-
you want to see more group rides, and because they help, and I agree, group rides are really important tools in helping to build the culture of bike riding in Los Angeles, as well as
Yeah.
creating safer spaces for doing it.
Yeah.
And at least it sounds like, you know, more access to LA gyms via bike, you know, like encouraging biking to some of these LA gyms and hidden spaces
Exactly.
as a way to
Yeah.
see them and experience them. I think that's really cool.
And you've done a terrific outreach to the businesses that are surrounding some of these rides. And I think that's an awful good way to go see and meet new businesses on a bike, because they need help, and bicycle people spend money, but you just don't have the basket to carry away a lot of groceries, but you can still go to restaurants and gyms and things like that via bicycles. And I think you compiled a list of those venues.
Yeah, if you go to www.CicLAcia.org, you
It's
can
there.
download some of our field guides and our explorers maps, which are great ways to see the kinds of gyms you might want to explore in some of the neighborhoods where our events have been.
Exactly.
What would you tell young cyclists who might want to get involved in advocacy? Where should they go?
Oh golly, go to their council district. And again, it's hard to communicate with, but I think if you reach out to them, and most of them have a transportation committee, and you can ask them about doing something. And if you mention the magic word about businesses, and they're, you know, council people all need businesses, to tout the businesses in their areas. And if you can say bicycles will bring people to these businesses, you might get a little bit of a nod.
This is tried and true method. Like you said, he's been a bicycle advocate, official bicycle advocate for 3 different council people. So
3 different council people.
this is a
you
tried
have
and
to
true
really
formula.
you have to really keep your eye on your bicycle. People, you can just turn your head and someone will steal your bike. So
Yeah, security.
we've had that happen to us, and then we've come home on, you
On the
know,
bus.
on the bus because we turned our heads and they took both bicycles.
Right.
And so we never take our eyes off of our bicycles anymore.
It's a real fact. I mean, I grew up growing up in LA. I had growing up as a kid, we'd have our bikes locked up in our backyard. And somebody would hop a gate and steal our bikes. So we started keeping them on our porch, like right in the front door.
Yeah. Keep your eye on it.
Keep an eye on it. So remember, always have your lock on you. Always find a place to lock it up.
That's right.
And keep an eye on your bikes when you're out. You know what? One funny thing, anecdotally, is we don't get a lot of bike theft reports from CicLAcias, ironically enough, considering how many bikes are there.
Yeah,
probably because there's so many eyes on the street.
That's true. Yeah.
So zooming out a little bit from bike stuff. Before we zoom out for bike stuff, what's some of your favorite CicLAcia routes? Just curious.
Well, I liked the one from the Arts District downtown, the Watts. I liked the one we did in Being Prejudiced. I liked the one we did around the South LA. Oh, the one we did from, and who helped me put this on? Oh yeah, we had a guy named what's a bearded guy that's what's his name? Anyway, he helped me do a ride. We called it
Crenshaw?
Crenshaw Crush.
Mm.
And it was some very big advocates. I can't think of his name right now. And his wife was an advocate too. She's an actress or something. Anyway, they did a ride through the Crenshaw district, and we started at where did we start? We started in the Crenshaw district, and we toured where the Metro Rail was coming down by Dorsey High School.
Mhm.
There was nothing but railroad tracks, and there was no sign of Metro coming. Oh, we started in Leimert Park, where the fountain is, and we toured all the way over to. We went by the Science Museum. It was a fun ride. We went through the museum, the Science Museum, the Museum of Natural History, and on and on and on. And it was just a fun ride. And he stopped all along the way. Stephen Box. You remember that name? You don't remember that name? Stephen Box?
I don't know. I'm not familiar with him personally.
Stephen Box narrated this whole thing. We stopped at Tom Bradley's house that he lived in when he was before he was a councilman, when he was a policeman. We stopped at the metro station. We stopped at the Science and Museum. We stopped at some neighborhoods, and he did his homework. He and I don't know if it was called a group, but he and several guys put this ride together, and we called it the Crenshaw Crush. It's still online if you ever pull it up.
I think Stephanie actually went ahead and found it for folks and shared it in the chat. So
you did share it? It's still online?
Looks like it's still online, yes.
Yeah, Stephen Box and several of his buddies, and they were very hated by some, but loved by others, because he was out there. But I like Stephen, and that was one of the rides that I remember starting before CicLAcia got involved. And
just going over the bridges is nice. They're still working on some of the bridges, aren't they?
Yeah, the 6th Street Bridge is still under construction. They're getting closer to being complete.
That's gonna be a fun ride.
Yeah,
you're on that one, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, I'll go with you guys when they open.
Okay.
So since CicLAcia started, what's some of your favorite CicLAcia routes? Just curious.
A favorite routes, the Culver City route was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Missed any of them except the one in the valley. Just one in the valley we missed. So I think they were all very good. The one that was just recently done was a mile 0.6 or mile 0.8 or something in San Pedro.
Oh, the Wilmington one. Yeah, it's about a mile and a half. So 2 miles. Yeah. I'll give it a healthy 2 miles.
Yeah, by the time we put our bikes in the car, we've done 2 miles. So we didn't do that one.
That was our first one back from the pandemic, and we decided to do a little bit smaller just because right out the pandemic, we wanted to sort of take our time.
And you did a boutique ride, which was the one up Central Avenue. That was a fun ride.
Yeah,
you did the music ride.
Yep.
And you guys had all your music going in a big boom box. That was fun.
It's hard to bike ride without music, I'll tell you.
So
now zooming out from bike and stuff, what's some of your most memorable LA moments, period? I mean, you guys have been here, done that.
The most memorable LA moments.
Just being an Angelino, what's something that sticks out in your brain that's just one of those,
the Raiders coming to town.
That's such LA. That's such an LA answer.
Yeah, and then disappointing they left. But they're still the favorite team of LA.
That's true.
You said, what's the most memorable rides?
Moment, just a moment. LA moments. We're just talking Angelino to Angelino. What's your favorite LA moment going on?
Well, our 40th anniversary at Union Station. That was fun.
That was really
sounds like fun.
It really was.
Let's see. What?
I'm gonna keep that in mind too.
Yeah.
Union Station takeover. On bucket list.
And I guess
a movie had just come out when we did that anniversary thing, and the woman came all the way down the stairs, Devil in a Blue Dress. That was a movie in Los Angeles.
Denzel Washington.
She was beautiful, and
she sang
She sang
She sang coming out
so
of the balcony.
beautiful. And we heard her sing somewhere and she came and sang for us. She was very young, but very attractive. And
she
she
kind of
just came down
kicked
the
off the night coming down the
staircase.
staircase singing our favorite song, which I can't remember right now. But anyway,
That's amazing.
favorite moments in LA. Golly, the Olympics, 82
Oh, yeah,
Olympics.
the Olympics.
Yeah,
Were you here? You were too young.
I was literally a baby.
Oh, my
Oh,
God.
it
I
was
have
so
vague
fabulous.
recollections. I always tell I have vague recollections. I was a child,
Oh.
and I have vague recollections of our. It was 84 Olympics, 82 Olympics. Was it 84? Or maybe it's 82. But I have,
82.
Yeah, it was amazing.
yeah.
It was.
I remember we actually lived right near the Coliseum at the time.
you
I remember
did.
our front yard being rented out for parking.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
yeah,
Okay, then you're part
yeah.
of it. Yeah. We would go over every day and collect pins from all the different nations. And we still have sacks and sacks of various venue pins and pins from other countries, Thailand and whatnot. They all came.
A lot of people wanted to leave and they did leave,
And traffic was.
but they missed it.
Yeah,
They didn't want to be around all of the craziness, but it was fabulous.
Jafar, when CicLAcia got started, I don't know how I got there. I think it was you, me, Joe Linton, a guy named
The twin sons.
yeah, it was the twin sons. I can't think of his name either. Anyway, Joe Linton and yourself and Ramirez, the little guy we just mentioned.
Andres Ramirez, yeah.
Andres, yeah. Well, in the back room over off of Central Avenue, off of Broadway, somewhere in the middle of the night.
Yeah, it was
And
over
that's
at
what
the Sage, I believe, the Sage offices where we had those initial meetings.
Yeah. And I think that was a memorable moment.
Yeah.
CicLAcia getting started.
Ron Milan.
Ron Milan, Joe
Do you know
Linton.
him? Ron
Yeah,
Milan?
I know Ron. He helped found the LA Bicycle Coalition.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And Joe Linton, can't forget him.
I'll take that. One of your favorite moments being at CicLAcia getting started. And CicLAcia
right.
South LA. So those are the CicLAcia South LA meetings we were having. CicLAcia had already started, but that was like, the first event. And then we immediately started having meetings about South LA, and you guys were right there with us for those.
Right.
The rides before the marathon, those were always.
Yeah, we crashed the marathon.
That's the nickname of the ride, Marathon Crash.
The Marathon Crash. And we'd get started at 6 o'clock in the morning when the runners were going off at 9 or something. We'd get there and the sun coming up and following the trail till they kicked us off.
I've done it once, and it's really fun actually. Middle of the night, we lost the whole group. We went the wrong way for a little while. Back to the neighborhood, like hundreds of riders all lost.
Yeah.
It was great.
A little bit of breaking the law. A little bit of breaking the law, but it was fun.
So my last question for you guys before we start to wrap up. What is with the pandemic, your business kind of slowed a little bit. I know you guys said you weren't as active out. But now we're reopening, so our social lives are kind of returning. What's that meant for you? I'm curious.
Oh, the chains are off. I think with the new thing that's coming, though, you have to be careful because we're going to be living in masks for the rest of our lives.
Don't even think of it.
It's going to happen. And but then coming up and growing up in LA, looking at our clock. We've had measles, mumps, chickenpox, all those we were vaccinated for. So we'll live through this one, and with mask or no mask, but we must get vaccinated. We look forward to having a lot more fun. So
I think
anyway, the person over at I got to mention the name because they gave us a guided tour of Sofi, and her name was Randy.
Yeah, Randall.
Randall, I can't think of her last name, but anyway, she was very instrumental in helping us get this whole thing off the ground with Sofi.
Real cool.
Yeah.
Real cool. I think you said it really well. The chains are kind of off, and now these opportunities can come to us again.
Yeah.
So I think those are all my great questions for you guys, and we're just about out of time. But I wanted to share this picture. Hopefully it comes up on the thing. This awesome picture of you two.
Where'd you get that picture?
I stole it when we had our pre-meeting. I could barely get it in there. If you guys can see,
yeah.
beautiful
That's
couple.
a wedding picture.
Yeah, this
That's
is your
coming
wedding
down the
picture.
aisle.
But how did he get
It
it?
took it off my camera.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
My virtual background is not doing us justice here.
I got a better one if they want it. Yeah, that was 1959, Holy Name Church, in
Which-
Jefferson and Cimarron, where I went to elementary school for 8 years and I rode my bike every day for 8 years to the school.
Yeah, like it's funny. Cimarron is one of my favorite streets in LA for no reason. But
Yeah.
thank you so much, guys, for taking the time, sharing your story. You know, you're two of my favorite people in the world, and yeah, I guess I'll just kick it back to Stephanie to help wrap us up.
Thanks,
Okay.
Safari. No, I mean, there's so much amazing stories that were shared. I know that I can't believe I found that Crenshaw Crush Ride. Some of the, I was just, you know, trying to see some of the amazing places that you went to visit. And so for anyone that's interested, we're definitely have to host that again. It was pretty cool, and it's still on there.
It's still on there.
Yeah, you let me just rattle off some. You went to Esalen Books,
Right.
some of the other locations. You went to the
Town
LA
Brothers.
Coliseum, the Rose Garden, Phillips Barbecue,
Yeah.
Stambisi Bazaar. You know, so it's. I feel like I wouldn't even know if some of these places are still. You went to the African American
Yes.
Museum. One of my
We-
favorites, Maryland Soul Food Express, which I know that
And she fed everybody there. She fed.
Wow.
She
Yeah.
brought out food for the whole group. It must have been 50 of us, but she brought out food for the whole group. Maryland did. And she's
Wow.
still there, yes.
Yeah. Pretty
Yeah.
incredible. And I think that's a great way, I think, for us to commemorate the CivSalon. I know this was the first time CicLAcia and AARP partnered in this way, right? Because of the pandemic. And so, you know, being able to end in this hopeful note as we're also having a CicLAcia this weekend. So for those folks who have joined us, if you're going out there, be safe. I was able to include the link of the route for this Sunday's event. And we're looking forward to continuing to connect, not just in virtual world, but in the real world, right? And as Aubrey said it, to keep having more fun. And then just to commemorate, I know that this last Valentine's Day, there was a great piece of both of you in the LA Times for Valentine's Day. So we were able to share that with folks and just commemorating your beautiful love story. So thank you both for just sharing your time.
Can I just give a shout out to Mike's Bike Shop on Pico Boulevard?
Absolutely, you can.
He keeps us safe and he keeps us rolling, and he's got a good shop.
I
It's
love
called
it.
Mike Shop.
Mike's Bikes on
Mike's
Pico
Bikes.
Boulevard, yeah.
And I met you at Crenshaw, one of the programs you had, and I remembered that the night we went to dinner with you,
Yeah.
because you were so nice that day, and then I started remembering that's where I knew your face from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's been great. It's like a full circle moment. So hopefully you've enjoyed our time. And for our participants who also joined us, thank you so much. And yeah, like again, we'll stay connected. Everyone will
Definitely.
receive a recording of this link. And thank you so much. Have a great day. I mean, I can't wait for the next Olympics and maybe even recreating this Crenshaw Crush bike ride on my own.
Oh
yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, everyone.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bye.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.